What's up, Ram fans? Welcome back to yet another edition of CTV Sports. I'm Madeline Davis.
And as always, I'm Leah Cackowski. Here's what we've got on tap for you tonight.
Softball, tennis, and track had busy weeks, with some of our favorite spring sports starting up their season.
A special feature on the nationally ranked Rocky Mountain women's soccer squad.
Plus, stick around for yet another episode of In the Zone.
All of that and more right here on CTV Sports, which starts right now. Colorado State softball spent the holiday weekend in sunny San Diego in a test against the Aztecs. And well, it wasn't a vacation. Game 1 of Thursday's doubleheader was a definition of a mound battle, as Sydney Hornbuckle pitched a complete game for the Rams, only allowing 5 hits in 6 innings. And on the Aztec side, former Mountain West pitcher of the year, Allie Light, threw 4 innings with 1 hit allowed. And then CC Cellular came in to shut it down. Ashley York was the only Ram to record a hit in 7 innings, the Aztecs coming out on top 3-1. Game 2 was much higher scoring. Light came back to the circle for SDSU, except this time Colorado State adjusted. They got an early lead at the top of the third with an all-around hitting performance. Big moments from Maya Matsubara and Peyton Allen put them on the board, but it wasn't enough, falling short 7-6. Day 2 was the final match between these teams, and once again, pitching remained dominant with another complete game thrown by Hornbuckle. There was just a total of 11 combined hits for both teams as CSU struggled to find a rhythm against CC Cellular and Cassidy West, taking the close loss of 2-0. This is their second consecutive weekend of getting swept. However, there are still Rams to note for the weekend, and that's of course Sydney Hornbuckle and Maya Matsubara. With 2 complete games thrown, Hornbuckle only allowed 11 hits in 12 innings, and Matsubara went 6 for 10 at the plate with 3 RBIs. Colorado State has a chance to bounce back and regroup this weekend as they host the New Mexico Lobos right here at Ram Field.
After a successful home outing, tennis hit the road this weekend and traveled out west to take on the Nevada Wolfpack and the Pacific Tigers. The weekend started in Reno, where the Rams were looking to pick up another Mountain West dub. But unfortunately, that was far from the case as the Rams dropped their match with the Wolfpack 1-4. CSU had a quick turnaround as they were in California the next day for an out-of-conference match with Pacific, hoping to shake off what happened just the day before and perhaps put the road woes to an end. But once again, this one saw the Rams go down 1-4. CSU is still above 500 in conference standings at 3-2, but are definitely still looking for some more road wins.
CSU track and field split into 2 for the second weekend of their outdoor season. The majority of the Rams stayed home for the Jack Christensen Invitational, while the rest of the distance group headed to the Stanford Invitational. The only event to take place on day 1 for the Jack Christensen was both the men's and women's hammer throw. The Rams claimed a top 3 finish as redshirt freshman Kasia Borman claimed second with a career best mark of 62.06 meters. Followed closely behind her at third was Maya Lesnar at 60.72 meters. On the men's side, Mariano Kiss also got third place with a 54.73 mark. Moving on to day 2 at home, the field side of things took the cake, winning a total of 9 events. The long list of accomplishments was mostly led by the discus, triple jump, and pole vault for both the men's and women's side. Kyle Bigley had a day for shot put, scoring the 7th best all-time at CSU. And on the track, the 100 and 400 hurdles were run by Nia Jameson and Jack Wetterling. Benny Rendell showed out for the men's 5,000, winning the event as well. Moving on to the roadside, 2 Rams made their mark in their outdoor debuts. Yasmin Ostrich placed 10th in the women's 3K steeplechase for 9th all-time at CSU. And on the men's side, Sam Griffith jumped to 18th all-time for the record book. Lars Mitchell also did well for the men's 10K. The Rams have a quick turnaround as they head to Kansas tomorrow for the Wichita State Multi.
Let's take a look at what's coming up this weekend in Ram Country. As Leah mentioned, track is out in Kansas for the Wichita State Multis this Wednesday and Thursday.
And tennis kicks off the home slate, taking on the San Jose State Spartans at the CSU Tennis Complex this Friday at 11 in the morning.
Later on, women's soccer has a spring game against Metro State at 4:30 in the afternoon on Friday.
And track is in Boulder Friday and Saturday for the Colorado Invitational.
Moving on to softball, Moving on to Saturday, softball takes the field for their first game of a 2-game series against the New Mexico Lobos.
And finally on Sunday, it is once again tennis getting things started with their match against the Fresno State Bulldogs. And shortly after, softball takes the field for the annual state pride game against New Mexico.
While women's golf gets their match started down in Chattanooga, Tennessee.
Wow, we got a lot coming up. I mean,
a lot going on this weekend for not a lot that happened this past.
Exactly. And, everyone's like, once basketball's over, not much is happening. Oh, they are so wrong. There is so much going on campus and teams that are constantly doing well here, too, at CSU. We love to see it.
Yeah, I know. I can't wait for, track is coming home soon. It's going to be really fun to see how they do.
Especially with a month left-ish of school, there's so much to do on the weekends. So, yeah, it'll be good to see Ram fans out.
Never a boring weekend here at CSU.
Never.
Hello, beautiful Ram fans, and speaking of some soccer startup, here in Colorado on the high school level, we're actually in the minority when it comes to when we play girls soccer at all. Under half of the states in the union play the sport in the spring, but among the over 2,000 teams nationally playing this season, the National Soccer Coaches have one Fort Collins area team in their top 25 across the nation. Ranked 15th in their March 26th poll were the Rocky Mountain High School Lobos.
Heading into the 2023 playoffs, Rocky Mountain Girls Soccer only had one vote saying that they were a top 10 team in the state. But when the playoffs started, the Lobos came out swinging, eventually making the Elite Eight. And the Lobos knew that if they wanted to maintain that success, they would need to perform an exercise in continuity and leave it all on the line for the pack. The second that their quarterfinal game was over, the Lobos knew that they would have to build on the success.
It was an amazing season. It was a thank you to seniors. And then I feel like right away it was, this can be us again. We can go farther this next season.
And the whole team can feel it too, including CU commit Jace Hawley.
We only lost 3 seniors last year, so we are pretty much a team who was set from last year. We're pretty much the same exact team. I think we'll just be able to build from where we were last year, which is really awesome.
And that building process starts with camaraderie, hard work, and perseverance. And much of this mindset stems from the defensive side of the field with players like Utah Tech commit Allie Warner.
Building from the back is a great way to get our team going moving forward, and if we can get our defensive line up quickly, then when they're trying to counter, we're there to stop them, and that works for us a lot of the time. And we have a lot of great players, and we will have the help we need.
And that help will be necessary, as the coaching staff has put together an extremely rigorous schedule.
We want to play the best. If we're going to be at the top, we have to be able to compete against the best in the state. And our biggest push is we want to be the best North Front Range League team. We at Rocky has an unbelievable group of girls, and we have that talent. And we want to be able to put that work in and then get a good seed going into the playoffs.
And the city of Fort Collins has a lot of quality teams for the Lobos to cut their teeth on.
I'm looking forward to playing Fossil and Collins because they are our crosstown rivals. They always put in the work, we put in the work, and it's always a great game. The nerves are high, it's just such a fun environment to be in, and I think that if we keep putting in the work here at practice, that we can beat Fossil and Collins and be city champs.
But to the girls on this team, the most important part of the experience isn't wins or glory. Even though those are nice, the most important part is the relationship that they have with each other.
We're a family through and through the losses, through the wins, through everything. We're always there for each other, and we're willing to work hard for each other. We hold each other to high standards at the same time, but we stay positive and work through it with each other. We're able to face a lot of big challenges that way and overcome them.
That being said, the Lobos know that this year, with 8 seniors on the roster, they have a chance to make a lot of noise, not only in Fort Collins, but in the 5A classification.
We want to show the whole state of Colorado what Northern Colorado and Rocky Mountain can be, and I think that's a big push for the girls as we can get there, but it's going to be some work, and that's what they're ready to do.
And the Lobo faithful know that this team have the talent, work ethic, and dedication to win city, league, or even state.
The 3-1 Lobos will be taking on the 4-1 Erie Tigers Wednesday, April 3rd at 6 p.m. on French Field at Rocky Mountain High School. Stay tuned after the break for some madness of the marchest kind.
After 2 years?
You gotta be kidding me! Okay, no.
Robbie.
Seriously, do you have anything you can use against the dragon?
I can do fireball. That'll do a lot of damage.
Yeah, to all of us.
Well,
We're in a 4-foot group.
I'm sorry. What else do you want me to do?
Okay.
Hold on. All right. Wizard, what do you do?
Welcome back from the break, Ram fans. Even though it's April, March Madness is still the talk of the NCAA. This year, especially with the women. With the Final Four in just a few short days, we wanted to give you our predictions, along with the MVP to close it out. So I'm going to start out for my thoughts on this Friday. This is a game I have been excited for since I made my bracket. I am taking Iowa to beat UConn on Friday.
Ooh.
I'm going to take Iowa to win that game. And with Southern Carolina and NC State, I got to go with South Carolina. They have been dominant the entire year. And honestly, talking a little bit before show, this is the best bracket I think I've ever made in my entire life. 93% correct, and I am standing with it. I had everybody but NC State going into this game. But yeah, I got to go with Iowa winning the entire thing. I think America honestly wants that with Caitlin Clark and the buzz that she has been making. So if we're moving on to my MVP, it's Caitlin Clark. Like, if we look at her highlights, you guys, it is something.
She
You guys, we all watched the game the other night, right, against LSU.
It's unbelievable.
Has been putting up, if we look at this, oh my gosh, she hit 9 threes in this game.
She scored what, 41 points?
41 points.
She was
almost
close,
a triple-double.
She was close to a quadruple double.
Yeah.
12 assists, 7 rebounds, and the first player to have 3 40-point games in NCAA history. No one could do like her.
And she just, it does not matter where she is on the court.
Not
she
at all.
shoots
No.
it and
No.
it goes in.
Every time they'll be from the logo, from half court. It doesn't matter.
No.
Hot take, she's the modern-day Pete Maravich, straight up.
I think she's a modern day even Steph. I think that, and he kind of said it himself. He did an interview about Caitlin Clark the other day, and even attested more than just her shooting ability, but we've seen it. Her field ability, the ability to pass the ball, her assists, she sees it better than anybody else. So for me, obviously, Southern Cal, they are undefeated. So Madeline, let's hear what you have to say about this, because I know our picks are a little bit different, but I gotta go Iowa personally a little bit, but I want to hear what you have to say.
Okay, yeah, I definitely do have some different picks. I have South Carolina and UConn in the middle.
Okay.
I think especially after how emotional of a game against LSU was, because that was a rematch of the championship last year.
Yeah.
That was a rematch of the championship. Obviously, there's a lot of tension between those two teams.
Oh, yeah.
Realistically, there's probably going to be some tension between Iowa and UConn as well, because Caitlin Clark, she wanted to go to UConn. She didn't get an offer, so she wants to beat them. But at the same time, aside from Clark, Iowa is just, in my opinion, not as strong as UConn is overall.
Okay.
Yeah.
And Paige Beckers, she has never been in a tournament where she didn't make the Final Four. She's never been in an NCAA tournament where she didn't make the Final Four.
She was hurt all last
I was gonna
year,
say,
too.
but she is so injury prone.
Yeah.
And this is going to be the first time we really get to see these two NCAA women's basketball powerhouses meet each other. So I think that this is going to be the game of the tournament.
Okay.
But I think it's going to take a lot out of them. And South Carolina versus NC State, I don't see a world where South Carolina doesn't absolutely dominate this.
Yeah.
And I think between the two, whoever the winner of the Iowa State Iowa
And
UConn,
yes.
Couldn't get it out. Yeah, whoever the winner between Iowa and UConn is, they're going to be tired, because that's going to be a good game in my opinion. And so I think that South Carolina is going to take it. They're undefeated, and my MVP comes from South Carolina. the 6'7", Camila
Crazy.
Cardoso. She's from Brazil. She's a senior. She's averaging 14.1 points per game. This is the fun thing about South Carolina is no one really outshines each other. She has 9.4 rebounds per game, 2.1 assists. She's shooting nearly 60% from the field. I will say her free throw percentage isn't fantastic though. So if whoever ends up against them can take advantage and send her to the line, it could end up going there, but she scores in the paint. And South Carolina, they're 107-3.
It's crazy.
In the past 3 seasons.
Undefeated going to the Final Four twice.
Honestly,
Second straight undefeated season.
personally, more than the players on the team, my MVP is Dawn Staley.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
She is an unbelievable coach.
Yep.
Unbelievable.
Well, and the credit is where credit's due, and that's why it's kind of like, it's weird that they're almost not a sleeper team, but like the entire
But no
focus
one
is on
talks
Caitlin
about
Clark.
it.
Right?
Everybody was talking LSU, UConn,
Yes.
and Iowa. Nobody was paying attention.
It's because South Carolina is just all around, whereas these other teams have a player that stands out.
Their
Yes.
So
dominance
everyone talks about the player that stands out and not the team overall.
their dominance has almost become boring at this point.
Yeah.
It's kind of like been there, done that. Even though
but
UConn
they
is dominant
can't
too.
win a
historically.
championship.
Yeah.
Is the thing about South Carolina. But I think this year's their year.
Yeah, and
It's like the Patriots, Tom Brady. Anyways,
Gideon, let's hear from you.
Joking.
I mean, last but not least, we're going to take a look at my bracket here. And first, I'm going to start with South Carolina and NC State. Listen, when it comes to NC State, they don't really have an answer for Camila Cardoso or for Ashlyn Watkins. Both of these are players who are averaging 2.4 and 2.5 blocks a game, respectively.
Because they're so dull.
You cannot stop these girls defensively, and I honestly don't see anybody on NC State that's going to be able to go against that. For the bigger event, arguably, we have Beckers versus Clark, Iowa versus UConn. I'm taking UConn here. Now, Caitlin Clark, she is a very, very good player. She's going to make this a very close game, but the thing is, UConn, I feel, even though they do have, they're just deep all around. They have, in my opinion, a much better constructed overall roster than
I'm with you
Iowa.
there.
And, you know, when your star starts getting some fouls, when your star starts missing shots, you need somebody to back you up. And UConn has that. They have a bunch of players averaging 7-8 points, and then they have 4 averaging basically 10. And so I think UConn's going to take that matchup. And then heading in against South Carolina, I'm going to take UConn here. We talked about it a little bit. You mentioned it with Paige Beckers. She is extremely injury prone. This is her time.
It is.
She has been waiting for this. She wants this. She's been waiting for this since 2020 when she was the National Player of the Year in high school. She went to UConn for a reason, and that is to win championships. And this is the time for it. And ultimately, I'm going to pick Paige Beckers as my tournament MVP. And I'm going to take UConn here against South Carolina, probably a game that'll end up 60-58. But regardless, this is going to be a good weekend for hoops.
Well, and I just love to see that last night LSU versus Iowa was the most watched women's game in history.
Oh, yeah.
And it's just the amount, nonetheless, all of these players are creating for the sport in general.
for sure.
It speaks for itself. And like the fact that Beckers and Clark played together on the USA team, like you said, like it has been so fun to watch, and that's why it's so competitive. It is must-watch television all the way around.
This is monumental.
All the way around.
This is the definition of a rising tide. This is going to help everybody on all levels when it comes to women's athletics.
The fact that 2 years ago, they did not barely have a gym. They didn't have a meal plan.
No.
They couldn't even have the rights to the name March Madness.
Yeah.
And now
Not
to
even.
see where it's come is
And
unbelievable.
now tickets to this event are more expensive than the men's.
Wow.
Yeah, we are living in a renaissance.
Yep. And especially too, like I think all 3 of our MVPs, they all can be the MVP. Just the way that they've been
100%.
playing. I think we all. I love how we all have different picks too. Usually we tend to agree over here.
Because all these teams are so good.
Yeah,
Anything could happen.
Anything can happen. And I can't wait to watch. It's going to be really fun to see. But,
It's going to be awesome.
I really truly think that we could go on and on and on about March Madness, especially from the women's side. But for now, make sure to tune in next week to see who called this one. Don't go anywhere just yet, because when we come back, another episode of In the Zone returns.
Living with someone you don't know on the other side of the wall is hard, especially if you don't know how to be a good roommate. The first thing that you'll want to do to be a good roommate is make sure that you always stay quiet. Be considerate of others when using common spaces and appliances.
Hey buddy, what you doing?
I'm just gonna need like 40 minutes. Be respectful of your roommate's privacy.
Ugh, my bad.
Finally, make sure that you clean up after yourself. Oh, fresh toothbrush.
Have you seen my toothbrush?
Follow these tips to get along with your roommates and your landlord.
Welcome back from the break. We're going to end tonight's show with a new episode of In the Zone. So, hope you enjoy. Welcome to In the Zone, a sports talk show with a twist. I'm your host, Madeline Davis. Today, we have a very special guest, all the way from Canvas Stadium, Kennedy McDowell from the CSU football team.
Hello, what's up?
Thank you so much for joining me.
Absolutely, thank you for having me.
Are you excited?
Absolutely.
Okay.
I'm always excited.
I love to hear that because I'm excited as well. So basically how this works is there are going to be 3 rounds. We're going to start with rapid fire. You're going to get 90 seconds to answer as many questions as you can. Then after that, we're going to go into round 2, which is a little game. Okay. So we're going to play a little game. We're going to keep that a surprise for now, but it should be fun. And then round 3, you are going to draw a personal logo that represents you. There are some prompts that you have to follow, but you're going to draw it. I'm going to ask you some questions and you're going to explain it. And then hopefully by the end of it, you're going to feel like you're in the zone.
Okay, bet.
Yeah, okay. So let's start with round 1. So we are now ready for round 1.
Okay.
You're going to get 90 seconds to answer as many questions as you can. The time starts now. Okay, position and where you're from.
I am from Frisco, Texas, and I'm a defensive end.
Whataburger or In-N-Out?
Whataburger, what?
I've never been, so I wouldn't know. Give me your best pickup line.
Did you fall from heaven? No, is that how it goes? Wait, hold on. Oh wait, I got it. No, wait, are you an angel?
That was really good.
Thank you.
That was really good.
Thank you.
Okay,
Yeah,
well, 90 seconds has concluded. Now we're gonna get into round 2. So for round 2, I always do a little game. It's specialized depending on the guest.
Okay.
So for you, we're gonna do CSU football trivia. What CSU football player has a collection of over 1,800 Pokemon cards?
Bro, I don't know who this is, but I need to see it ASAP, no Rocky, because I love Pokemon. Okay. Over 1,800?
Mm-hmm.
Can I get the position?
No, because that's absolutely going to give it away.
Oh, so it's definitely a specialist.
It is.
I knew it. It's Patty, isn't it?
It's not. I got the information from Patty.
Cody.
No.
Who is that?
It's Jordan Noyes.
What? What?
So, obviously, you're one of the first openly gay D1 football players.
Yes, ma'am.
Do you see yourself as a trailblazer?
Honestly, yes, and it's what keeps me going. Sometimes when I'm like, absolutely, wow, I hate this so much. I'm like, wow, I have like a lot of people that look up to me, a lot of kids maybe that look up to me, and my mom reminds me as well. And I'm like, okay, this is something that I need to keep pursuing.
I love that. Yeah, I was going to ask, what impact do you think you have on, LGBTQ youth and just the athletic space in general?
I do feel like I end up just being that role model that some people, want to be friends with even, because I've had a lot of my teammates even, they have never been friends with a gay guy or anything like that until I came around, and they were like, wow, I thought of them differently, but now I am friends with you, and I care for you. And I'm like, okay, maybe I could just change minds. I like that. I love being an underdog. Always been one. So this is my logo, guys. So my family portion comes from right here. So our family game is spades. That's our family card game. I actually have this tattoo that is the King of Hearts. So I'm the only one that got a heart tattoo out of my whole family. I have a twin brother though, so that's why he has K. So we're the two kings. My mom is the queen, and my dad is the ace, because the ace trumps all. So that's a little family tat situation. Hometown, I'm from Texas, so I had to do Whataburger, okay? And if you don't know what it is, don't worry about it, okay? You're missing out. My passion is poetry. So I have a very strong passion for writing rather than football. I love football, don't get me wrong, it's my talent, passion too. It's like a hobby. But I really do enjoy putting my feelings on paper. It just makes me feel fulfilled. So. And then for Colorado State, I had to do the mountains with, this is Horsetooth. I know it doesn't look like it, it's man-made, as you can see. So yeah, that's my logo.
Well, thank you so much for joining me.
Thank you for having me. This has been a great experience. Y'all gotta get in the zone, you know what I mean? Because I'm totally in the zone.
Oh my gosh. I was just gonna ask if you were in the zone, and just doing my outro for me.
Sorry,
Stealing the show. No, that's perfect. No, that's perfect. Absolutely stealing the show. Oh my goodness. Okay. Well, yeah. Thanks so much for tuning in, and we'll see you next time. Kennedy was unbelievably fun to talk to, and you can tell he has big goals for himself. To hear a little more about him and some of those goals, check out the full episode, which will be up sometime after the show. Thanks so much for tuning in. Stay safe out there, and we'll see you next time.